Here are the stories we're covering this week in the Category 5.tv newsroom. A side channel leak in Intel Skylake and Kaby Lake chips allow attackers to pilfer crypto keys, and the issue probably affects AMD CPUs too. Iran apparently infiltrated the communication network of CIA agents who allowed their secret websites, used to exchange messages with informants, to be crawled by Google. Several popular verified Twitter accounts have been hacked by scammers to promote an ad using Tesla boss Elon Musk's name and likeness. And one of our favorite SBC makers is now making an affordable Linux-powered smartphone and tablet with KDE Plasma, and we have the inside scoop. These stories are coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Category 5.tv newsroom, covering the week's top tech stories with a slight Linux bias.
Jeff Weston,
Yeah, man.
you're building a brand new beautiful website,
What?
aren't you?
No. Am I?
Oh, you're a terrible actor.
What?
This is where acting comes into play.
Oh, I didn't know we were acting.
You're supposed to act.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I'm building a really cool website. Are you building a really cool website? Just because Jeff is confused doesn't mean you have to be. Visit cat5.tv/dreamhost to sign up for unlimited web hosting for your website with unlimited email accounts, MySQL databases, the latest version of PHP, WordPress, and more, and even a free domain name registration. It's less than $6 per month, so sign up today. cat5.tv/dreamhost.
I'm Sasha Rickman, and here are the top stories we're following this week. A side channel leak of Intel Skylake and Kaby Lake chips allow attackers to pilfer crypto keys, and the issue probably affects AMD CPUs too. Over the past 11 months, the processors running our computers, and in some cases phones, have succumbed to a host of attacks. The exploits threaten to siphon some of our most sensitive secrets, say passwords or cryptographic keys, out of the silicon architecture in ways that can't be detected or stopped by traditional security defenses. On Friday, researchers disclosed yet another leak that has already been shown to exist on a wide range of Intel chips, and also other makers too. Port Smash, as the new attack is being called, exploits a largely overlooked side channel in Intel's hyper-threading technology. A proprietary implementation of simultaneous multi-threading, hyper-threading reduces the amount of time needed to carry out parallel computing tasks in which a large number of calculations or executions are carried out simultaneously. The performance boost is the result of two logical processor cores sharing the hardware of a single physical processor. The added logical cores make it easier to divide larger tasks into smaller ones that can be completed more quickly. In a paper scheduled for release soon, researchers document how they were able to exploit the newly discovered leak to recover an elliptic curve private key from a server running in an OpenSSL-powered TLS server. The attack, which was carried out on servers running Intel Skylake and Kaby Lake chips and Ubuntu, worked by sending one logical core a steady stream of instructions and carefully measuring the time it took for them to get executed. The specific timing allowed Port Smash to deduce the key being processed in another logical core of the same processor. The researchers feel remote login scenarios are the biggest targeted threat. In this scenario, malicious user with credentials logs in via SSH, for example, then compiles the exploit code and runs it to extract information from other processes running in parallel. Port Smash currently poses a threat mainly to people using computers or services that allow untrusted people to use the same physical processor. These users should pay close attention to the research and carefully consider the recommendation for the time being. The risk for others is likely low, but that could change with more research.
Okay.
So, if you remote into my computer, am I at risk?
If I?
Yeah.
Do you trust me?
Well, yes, I trust you.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So if somebody calls me and remotes into my computer because they say they say your computer is at risk, then
that has to do with like spear phishing campaigns and,
Right.
and attacks where people trick you into giving them access.
Right.
That's a different thing because that's something that you have fallen for.
Okay.
So if I call you up and I pretend I'm from Microsoft and I say, yeah, I detected a virus on your computer and I can remote it and fix it for you, as not Robbie, like as Robbie, you know you can trust me. But if I was that Microsoft person and you
Right.
fell for it and you gave me access, you're basically done for. You've
Right.
given them access. It's like people say, I had an antivirus. I don't understand how I got a virus. Well, did you say yes when it prompted you? Are you sure you want to run this?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if you authorize that, that's a bad scenario. You have given access.
So this case.
With this case, with this particular type of exploit, what it allows to happen is that parallelized tasks, so services that are running in parallel on a single CPU, so a single computer processor, can then be grabbed by an unauthorized task. Okay, so
Okay.
let me give you a scenario.
Yes.
I have a server. This is a scenario. This is not reality. I have a server, and I want to become a web host.
Okay.
So I've put my server on the internet. I've co-located it somewhere. I've got firewalls in it. I know what I'm doing. I've got Apache installed. I've got MariaDB installed, and I'm ready to rent out some space. It's got a lot of power. It's got a lot of storage space. Jeff wants to build a website. So he brings it to me and says, I want to put it on your web server. And I say, okay, I'll set you up an account. Boom, boom, boom. Your software is installed. Your website is good to go. It's up.
Right.
Now, Sasha comes to me and you say, okay, I want to do a blog. So,
Okay.
I've installed, all right, we've set up your software. Now, Sasha's got her blog set up. Now, Joe Blow user over here calls me up and says, okay, I'm ready to build my thing. I want to install this. So, okay, here you go. Boom, 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 boom. You're all set up. Now, we've got 3 people in a multi-tenant environment who all have access to the same physical hardware. But typically and traditionally, and in my secure environment, you only have access to your files and your
Exactly.
things. You only have access to your things. But what we don't realize is that Joe Blow user over here has written some software to allow him to access the stuff that's going on yours.
Right.
Right.
So on your website, I didn't know, but you're actually selling some software on your website. And so you use cryptography to convert the credit card numbers that are passing through your site into encrypted data.
Right.
So now this Joe Blow user can grab that decryption,
Oh.
grab that credit card information that's passing through. This is a theoretical, but
This
can
is-
now grab that information that they should have no right to access because it's running on the same computer, on the same processor that typically each user would not have access to each other's things.
That makes sense.
But now, because they've got this exploit, they can access that data, that decryption, that those codes that otherwise they should not have access to. That can be used for man-in-the-middle attacks.
Right.
That can be used for data theft, for financial theft, for cryptocurrency theft, for identity theft. Did I say that yet? For any number of
Basically
attacks.
theft.
Yeah.
Any information that passes through that server now can be exploited that is susceptible to that type of exploit.
So you would know that you are at risk if.
This is where the research has not been officially announced in such a capacity yet where we understand what we need to do.
Right.
Okay.
Okay? So what we do need to do is, at this point, be diligent in that I need to say as that web host, that Joe Blow user is doing something weird. CPU usage keeps skyrocketing, but it's
Yeah.
some process that I don't recognize, and their
Right.
website is nothing. So I don't understand. So you sort of,
But would most hosts watch for that?
good hosts will.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
And I say that like I think about DreamHost, for example, which would be a prime example where this kind of thing could be used to attack because users have SSH access.
Yeah.
And they have very strict environments set up for VPS and for compartmentalizing individual tasks. Not only users, but tasks. So that they're sandboxed in and of themselves. Because that's what they do. That's their thing.
Yeah.
But they're not me, the Joe Blow user who I'm not the Joe Blow user. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that user. I'm the guy who has a server and wants to rent out some space.
Right.
Or share it with my friends or share it with other people and sell some space. So
Okay.
very simple scenarios to give an example that makes sense, I think.
Yes.
But could be any number of things.
And when there's more research, we'll know some more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is a scenario where I'm saying, okay, well, I've granted access. Keep in mind, somebody could hack into SSH.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody could hack into your SSH account if you've got a wide open server with no firewall like CSF LFD that's watching for failed login attempts and then blocking IP addresses. Thousands of those in the past couple of weeks. I've had thousands of those whacking away at my server. 5 attempts, you're blocked.
Right.
That's how it should be.
Okay.
Iran apparently infiltrated the communication network of CIA agents who allowed their secret websites used to exchange messages with informants to be crawled by Google. The communication leak was believed to have stemmed from a simple Google search. Suspecting the U.S. had agents and sources within its nuclear program, Iran began to hunt for the mole. After a double agent showed Iran's government one of the sites, they were then able to use Google to identify other sites the intel agency was using and began to intercept the communication. Essentially, each of the websites had common elements between them that were found using Google searches. Identify one common element, identify all the sites using that material to link them up. The report from Yahoo News states, because Google is continuously scraping the internet for information about all the world's websites, it can function as a tremendous investigative tool, even for counter-espionage purposes. Once Iran was able to track down the sites, their techniques were given to other friendly countries who in turn used the information to weed out the CIA's communication channels in their own territories as well. Sadly, this has led to the capture and execution of at least 30 agents.
Wow.
Well, an official quoted in the report claims the agency had become too reliant on the system, which was originally intended to only be a temporary communication channel, and had left the relatively insecure site up far longer than intended and used it to send information that should have been reserved for more secure channels. The official says the issue was that it was working well for too long with too many people. A defense contractor for the CIA claims that he warned the agency that it was using insecure communication systems in 2008 and again in 2010 when he started suspecting the channels had been cracked. A year later, he was sidelined and fired by the agency, a move that he claims was retaliation for not shutting up.
Oh, my.
This is a really sad story because it's impacted human lives in such a, a broad way. At the same time, I want to be careful how I say this. I feel like this has been a common news theme where there's been some sort of a military mess up with technology that's resulted in private information going out there. Like it was about a year ago that there was cell phones for a secret military base that was people were using
Fitbit.
Fitbit. And it was tracking where they were running, and all of a sudden you're getting all this data in this one spot in the middle of the desert. It's like you would think that this kind of stuff would be on the forefront of their minds when it comes to security. But maybe it's so easy to overlook.
So comfortable is the problem. I think people are super comfortable with the technology that they use, and I think the secure sites probably mirror the insecure sites so easily that you just imagine security in it, right? I think that the communication techniques probably, and I don't know what they are for the CIA, but I think that the communication channels that they would use that are secure mimic the ones that they would use that are insecure to make people feel comfortable with the right? So it gives you a false sense of security when you're using the insecure communication channels. You wouldn't know that you were putting yourself at risk in any way. It's up to the CIA's, I think if you're a secret operative, you're going to know that whatever communication method you're using, there is, whether secure or not, there's always a risk to it. But I mean, like, I think about back when Obama got elected as president of the United States, he wanted his BlackBerry. And that was a fight for like 6 months that the Secret Service said, no, you're not getting a BlackBerry because it's not secure enough, even though BlackBerry was crazy secure. And they ended up creating, and I remember it was coined, it was called the BrockBerry.
because the Secret Service made their own cell phone for Barack Obama to use. But I mean, that's going back, what, 10 years now?
Yeah.
Well, so is this system.
Well, yeah.
That's the thing. 10 years ago, someone was saying internally that this is not safe. This is not secure.
Right.
But in any workplace, including the CIA, Secret Services, is everyone a computer geek?
No, of course
and a
not.
computer tech? No. I mean, unlike the movies, which will make us think that every operative can hack every system.
Right.
It's not the case.
No, it's not.
We're all individual people with our
Yeah.
own experiences and our own capabilities. And so to put that expectation that the individual operatives should know better than to use a system that's unsecure, that's not fair to put it on them.
Yeah.
What is fair is to say, well, okay, first of all, those operatives trust that the infrastructure that's in place by their employer, in this case the government, is secure. They trust that that is the case. And no questions asked.
Yeah, but it does lead to, and I mean, this is like kind of going out there, but the fact that, it's being, tracked by Google, and that's the big issue here, and that's what led to it. The fact that we live in this tech world where nothing is private anymore. Like
Right.
everything you do on your cell phone, everything you do on your computer, like your data mined 1,000 ways from Sunday. And I mean, heck, what is it? Facebook's got 57,000 different categories on you just on the way that you use it.
Right.
Is it reasonable to expect that there's going to be a way to completely block off from the world any sort of data mining?
If you're a hermit, a
Right.
disconnected hermit, that's the only...
But that's it. You'd have to be disconnected. If you're using tech, you're somehow going to give that information
Exactly.
off.
The problem isn't that there isn't privacy. The problem is that you're led to believe it's private when it's not.
Like you
Yeah.
say, you're led to feel trust for the system.
Exactly. When you really ought to know that anything you say or do on your computer or phone is totally traceable, totally trackable. The difference is, I would assume that with a CIA agent, that they would be given a special device and they would have, some level of encryption or some
Sure.
magic
But that's not this.
password
This
or-
issue is the
but
fact
this-
that Google was just tracking it.
Right.
It was indexing it.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
That's all
Which
it was.
happens, and so this was an online system. So what should they do? Intranet.
Is the
Go old
Yeah.
school.
dark web a thing? Is that a real?
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
really
That's-
it?
that's a
But
legit
then you're
thing.
susceptible to that. But an
Yeah.
intranet would be only accessible by their people, or at least a VPN. Something that, how can Google access this to index it in the first place? Because it's
Yeah.
on a forward-facing server that's accessible. And they do that because they want their people to be able to access it when they're at home and when they're in the field and when they're overseas. And you don't want to have trouble accessing the communication system, of course. But by doing that, you're opening it up to severe security exploits.
Now, I mean, not knowing how all that indexing works. I mean, Google is just one search engine. You've also got,
No,
big,
no, Jeff.
There.
Google is every search engine.
Yeah. But you've got Bing and you've got all these other.
What?
It's Microsoft's thing. They keep trying to get me to use Bing. It's not Chandler.
What, are
Bing.
you on
It's-
Internet Explorer or something?
No.
Do you go on Bing and search Google?
No.
I feel
Anyway,
like that's what I would
but
do.
how could they block all indexing service? I mean, there's crawl bots everywhere.
No, they can't if it's forward facing. So if my server that runs that service is accessible on the internet, so this is an internet connected network, an interconnected network of computers, okay? It needs to be a private network. So VPN,
Right.
when I say VPN, that's a virtual
okay.
private network, or an intranet, which is an internal network. Those would not be accessible from the outside
Yeah,
world
that's true.
unless you had the credentials in order to access them. So my device could have VPN access to our VPN, but Google would not be able to access it because Google does not have access to our VPN.
Right.
So that would then prevent those kinds of things. So we've got to move on, I know, but more emphasis has to be put on that individual who in the IT end of things said, we've got to do something here. Okay, we need to listen to those IT people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When I say to you that you need to have an offsite backup solution for your work, because if you ever had a fire and you don't have that drive offsite,
Right.
you've lost all your patient data.
Yes.
Right.
You need to listen to me. That's a serious thing.
Right.
And you have, and she's got a good backup.
It's true.
Okay? But you have to listen to those folks that are giving you those warnings, because we're not all computer nerds. Outside of this room.
I was going to say, I love how your face is kind of like, oh.
We can't all, let's reword, we can't all be computer nerds.
There you
Right.
go.
Yeah.
So if you know one, listen to them.
Yeah, they're smart.
Several popular verified Twitter accounts have been hacked by scammers to promote an ad using Tesla boss Elon Musk's name and likeness. British fashion retailer Madeline, film distributor Path UK, and US publisher Pantheon Books were among those whose accounts were taken over by scam artists. The scam used promoted tweets where Twitter is paid by advertisers to make a tweet appear to a wider audience. Scammers targeted several verified accounts, denoted with a blue tick, and changed the name and image to that of Mr. Musk. The tweet then urged users to part with a small amount of Bitcoin, a digital currency, to supposedly receive more. Several other verified accounts, which were also taken under the scam artist's control, appeared in the tweet's comments to claim that they have received Bitcoin from Mr. Musk. By using accounts with Twitter's own verification mark, again a blue tick, it makes the account appear more legitimate at first glance and thus may fool the reader into thinking that it's official. The scam is made to seem more trustworthy as various other compromised accounts reply to the tweet claiming that it works. But many of the posts still bear the hallmarks of a classic scam, including frequent spelling errors like Bitcoin and Saput, and a request for money. The account handle itself is also incorrect. A legitimate tweet from Elon Musk would read at Elon Musk beside the blue tick. In this case, it reads at Path UK. The account originally belonging to the film distributor Path UK. The tweets have since been deleted, with many accounts recovered, though some were left blank while waiting for their owners to re-enter their name and profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so totally off topic, but on topic. Elon Musk wasn't breaking SEC rules when he announced the deal. It was a spam.
Oh, you could have used that. You should have thought of that, Mr. Musk.
That's true.
Yeah.
I know really nothing about Twitter other than some people really use it more than I would. But a blue tick, is that all it takes?
Well, the blue tick denotes that it is an official account. So when you see Elon Musk and it has a blue tick, you think that is officially Elon Musk, because that we have been.
Right.
We talk about the complacency. We start to trust what we're used to. So I trust that. I see it. I trust it.
The blue tick means
that's a verified account. But it's no different
Twitter
than
has
going.
verified it.
It's no different than going on Facebook and finding out that, you know, Robbie Ferguson has tried to add me over 5 different accounts, and the one Robbie Ferguson has all male friends. The other Robbie Ferguson has all female friends. The other Robbie Ferguson has no
it's
friends.
the same kind of trick.
Exactly.
But this is a smart scam, because that blue tick does make me feel like that is a legitimate account. Twitter themselves have confirmed that is indeed the Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's why the blue tick is there. So in this case, what they've done, so let's say you have a blue tick because you are absolutely
I am
Sasha
for
Rickman.
sure Sasha Rickman, so blue tick.
Blue tick. And it only happens for famous people. So I don't have a blue tick. But let's pretend I did.
Yeah.
Robbie Ferguson has a blue tick.
That's a problem. You got to be
Jeff
bald
is a
nerd.
hacker. Jeff is a hacker. Who do I need to be?
You need to be bald nerd. You're the number one bald nerd. Then you get a blue
Bald
tick.
nerd.
I am the bald nerd. Trademark registered. So you have a blue tick as Sasha Rickman.
Yes.
I have a blue tick as Robbie Ferguson. Jeff is a hacker who wants to trick you into thinking that Elon Musk is saying,
Take my money.
send me your money, and I
Right.
will send you something else. So you hack my account. You've never touched Elon Musk's account. Those who think that Elon Musk was hacked are wrong.
Right.
You hacked my account. I have an official tick because I'm Robbie Ferguson, but I had a stupid password, and so I was easy to
1, 2,
compromise.
3, 4, 5, 6.
So you've
Password,
hacked
1,
me.
2, 3.
You've put Elon Musk's picture on my profile, and you've renamed my profile where it used to say Robbie Ferguson. It now says Elon Musk. I still have the blue tick.
Right.
So now I send a tweet, you send a tweet as my account with the blue tick, and I'm Elon Musk, and it looks legitimately, at first glance, unless you scrutinize it, it looks like it's Elon Musk.
I would like to know how and why these scam artists are so bad at grammar and spelling, because that is always the thing.
But they don't care.
But who? I guess people.
Trademark? Is it like this is their calling card?
Yeah, like
Saput this.
if you want Bitcoin,
Bitcoin.
yeah, they want Bitquake. They don't want Bitcoin.
Send me some Bitcoin.
But
Bitquake, please.
how is it
newest
any
currency.
different? I mean, like, was it last week? There was a massive raid in India for all of those CRA scams. You know, when you get this is the CRA, we have a warrant for your arrest.
Here in Canada.
Yeah, this is a big one going.
Canadian
And there's
Revenue
people
Agency.
that are calling back and go, "Here's my credit card," and it's people who are not savvy to this stuff. But how is it any different? I mean, if they scam 1 out of 1,000 people and they get $1,000
No,
bucks,
they got Bitcoin.
who cares?
They got a lot of Bitcoin. I guarantee.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure they did. People were trusting those blue ticks and sending their Bitcoin everywhere.
So to take it one step further, just to
Just
wrap up the discussion so we understand what happened here. So he hacked my account, made it look like Elon Musk. Elon Musk now tweeted with the check, and then you also got hacked. So Jeff has hacked you, and he has a blue tick as who's legit? Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Bill
And-
Gates, blue tick. You are now Bill
Right.
Gates with his
Okay.
picture. So
And
now
I
Bill
say-
Gates responds to Elon Musk's tweet and says, "I did it."
And it worked
And it
for
worked.
me.
I did it,
and you can too.
So now Elon Musk and Bill Gates with the blue tick on each of their little tweet says,
Right.
thumbs up, do this, send Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
Bitquake.
Yeah, send your Bitcoin today.
One of our favorite SBC makers is now making an affordable Linux-powered smartphone and tablet with KDE Plasma, and we have the inside scoop. Following the demise of Ubuntu Phone, Purism's Librem 5 seems like the next big thing in the budding world of Linux smartphones. Purism has already partnered with big names like GNOME and KDE, and we can expect the device to start shipping in April 2019. That said, it seems like another hardware vendor is looking to develop its own Linux smartphone, and it's a company we already know and love. Pine64 is working to create inexpensive Linux-based smartphones and tablets. KDE Neon creator Jonathan Riddell revealed this at Open Source Summit Europe Edition. Pine64 founder TL Lim confirmed to its FOSS that the devices are called PinePhone and PineTab. Pine64 community admin Łukasz Erzinski tells us that the early PinePhone development kits have been already sent to key developers. Active development should start next week. The PineTab is almost complete and is awaiting relevant software support. For the PinePhone, while the details won't officially be announced until FOSDEM in February, here's what we know. It runs Linux. There will be support from more than 2 different major projects on launch. It has a 1440 by 720p IPS panel screen and sleek modern design features. The front and back cameras are 5 megapixels each. They're aiming for higher end production materials with hopes of a Gorilla Glass sandwich with glass on both the front and back of the PinePhone. Pine64 plans to implement a better I/O into the PinePhone than is available on most commercially available phones, and the design is modular, allowing the swapping and upgrading of components such as the LTE capabilities. The PinePhone will be priced between $150 and $179 US and will be available, barring any unexpected delays, as early as late 2019. There isn't a lot of information available about PineTab just yet, as it's still being developed, and the official announcement will go out at FOSDEM next year as well. But what we do know is it has a 720p IPS panel and is built for education and budget use with a target price of about $100 US. One cool feature we can reveal about the PineTab is that it includes a magnetic keyboard that connects to the PineTab with pogo pins to USB and doubles as a protective cover.
Sweet.
Yeah!
$150.
I can do this.
I love it. I love Pine64. They make some really great products. We've looked at like the A64 LTS, and the Rock Pro, the Rock 64. I mean, they make single board computers, much like the Raspberry Pi, but much more powerful.
Right.
Right. You know how the Pine kind of look for their computers is like the two sandwich kind of glass with
the plexi.
Right. So I'm picturing like my new phone that I'm going to get.
This is what you're seeing in your mind's eye.
Right.
Holding an A64 Plus.
Right. So I'm picturing when they said Gorilla Glass sandwich, I'm picturing like the phone is there, and then like there's the two cases, and then there's the little, like, I know that you'll make it fancier than what I'm picturing, but it's incredible because I just picture it's like so unique, the design of the actual Pine 64 computers. I can't wait to see what the phone looks like.
See, I like this idea. What I'm wondering though is in an open market, and I say that term loosely, like the United States, where there's so much ability for competition.
Yes.
You don't have that kind of market in Canada. You've got the 3 major cell phone providers that basically like set their own marketability as far as cell phones. How is this kind of phone gonna make its way into Canada? Because the cell phone companies...
I'll tell you how, sir.
How?
You're going to see it on Category 5 TV. We're going to tell you that it's unlocked, that you can use it with any of the major phone providers.
Okay, but will you be able to buy it in store or strictly
Why
through...
would you buy
Why
a
would you
phone
need
in store
to?
anymore?
No, but this is the thing. If you want to get mass market sale, you need to get into the stores.
Is that true? Is that true in 2019?
For the average consumer who's going to walk into a cell phone store, they're going to go, oh, I see my Highway, I see my Samsung, I see my Google phone. I don't see a Pine 64. Nope, sorry, I need a Pine 64.
Am I the average consumer?
You know, because you're the bald nerd.
Right.
You know,
Are you the average consumer? Are you going to, when you know that the Pine 64 Pine phone is available?
right.
Like, people will line up for phones. And if I really want a Pine phone, which I do,
Right.
which I do,
Yes.
I'm going to get it. And I'm
Yeah.
going to order it online. And I'm going to insert my SIM card and I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it. And it's cheaper than me getting on a contract with my provider.
I agree. I totally agree. And
Go
for that,
pay as you go.
Yeah, for that reason, like, I'm all over it. But I think most people, they're going to go, ooh, this deal's going on right now at X cell phone company. And they're not going to think that way.
I don't like to
don't know.
generalize it, Jeff.
I
I like to give the consumers more credibility than that in that because we shop around now. We don't walk into a kiosk and say, what do you recommend?
What's the one thing you have?
What's the one that you recommend? Because I know I'm just going to get swindled.
Right.
That's the world that we live in.
Sure.
No, I do research and I look at reviews online. If they can get these on Amazon, they are going to get blasted with 5-star reviews that tell all about how great the Pine phone is and the Pine Tab, inevitably.
And I hope
I
it plays out exactly like that. I
That's it.
truly do. I have very little faith in consumers.
I think
I am
that
sorry for your loss.
I think we are a bunch of sheep. Generally, we are sheep, and somebody says, go here, and that's the pasture we go to.
My sheep, gather around.
Yes.
As your shepherd, buy a Pine phone when they come out. They are going to be incredible. And
Yes.
we love their company.
Yep.
We want to support openness. And
Yes.
when I say openness, open platforms, open software, and community developed software.
Yes.
And the ability through I/O and through modular design to be able to do stuff that the iPhone can't do
Right. There'll
for
be
10 times the price.
There'll be no planned obsolescence in the Pine.
What planned
phone.
obsolescence when you can just take out the LTE and put in the new one?
Okay.
This is great.
Okay, here's my argument to seal the deal.
Okay.
How are you going to, and this is not bashing the phone, but if it's only 5 megapixel camera, how are you going to get all those selfie socialites doing their duck face on 5 megapixels as opposed to the 12 megapixels? They're going to be like, my duck face isn't as good.
If I was buying a phone for the camera, then I might want to see some sample images.
Right.
Which we will provide.
Right.
Which we will provide.
I will be part of this unboxing.
There we go.
I will test the phone.
Oh my gosh.
Happily.
A week of selfies.
I will okay, firstly, I didn't even know a selfie was called a selfie for a long time. I thought it was called a facey. So I feel like I should not be the selfie person.
I got a 5 megapixel facey phone. Fantastic.
Oh, facey.
So I will be the one.
Is there going to be a pre-buy?
I don't know yet.
Like,
we'll know after FOSDEM.
Oh, I want to know if there's a pre-buy because so many people, like, they want a pre-buy. I would love to pre-buy on this.
What we do know is that there are some development units that have been manufactured and shipped.
Yep.
There will be more development units that will be manufactured and shipped. And then at FOSDEM, we will know more.
Right.
This is in February of 2019.
I can't wait till
That's
February.
so soon. It's almost February.
So there will be units available in the community, like the community members and developers in particular. Select developers will have access to these, and we'll start to learn more.
So I have to wait 4 months.
We have to wait.
That's
For
as hard as that
just
is.
4 more rent
And I
payments.
can't wait.
4 more rent payments. Yes, exactly.
It'll happen fast.
We can go on and on about Pine stuff. Keep up the great work, Pine 64. Thank
I
you
am
so
very
much for all
excited
you do.
about this.
Big thanks to Roy W. Nash and our community of viewers for submitting stories to us this week. Thanks for watching the Category 5.tv newsroom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all your tech news with a slight Linux bias. And for more free content, be sure to check out our website. From the Category 5.tv newsroom, I'm Sasha Rickman.
And I'm Robbie Ferguson.
And I'm Jeff Weston.